Hi Amy, good to see you today. We're talking about Rethink Places, which sounds fantastic. And since we last spoke, things are developing.
Yeah.
And this is part of Magna's Better Futures strategy. And you've got some really ambitious plans in there. And a big part is sort of rethinking how you establish partnerships and how you do things differently. I think you've got a line in there which is something like you lead when you can, but also you're establishing partnerships when you can have a bigger impact together. So
Mhm.
how is Rethink Places, this online community, helping you to do that?
Yeah, so it has moved on since we last spoke. But it still feels like early days. We're definitely seeing this as an opportunity to learn and grow as we go. It has been amazing, even though it feels like it is early days and we've got a lot to kind of learn. So we have now established a number of people into our community who all have a shared purpose or are doing work in the space of thinking about the experience of young people in the UK right now, particularly those who may be care leavers or are facing some kind of barriers to thriving. And we've just brought in a number of people through that community that are looking at that problem through different lenses. So whether it be other housing associations, charities, small community interest companies, those with lived experience. And we're just starting conversations around what are you doing? What's your insight that you bring to that challenge or that problem? And where might there be some synergies between work that people are doing and they could learn from others? It's an online community, but it's also led to offline face-to-face conversations. So I've had great conversations with people that I've met up with as a consequence of the community. And although we're doing it through Magna Housing, actually it's not really just about Magna, it's about the combination of that community that we're building and the difference it can make. I think my favourite kind of thing that's been born out of it so far has been about youth engagement. We've always been conscious with Rethink Places that we involve those with lived experience who can bring an element of insight that just you can't do when you're kind of second guessing. And so that's led to some interesting work that we hope to do around kind of bringing more youth voices to this problem, but also to some of the work that we're doing in Magna as well. So it's really got me rethinking how we do things in a way that I don't think I could have predicted before we started this, because sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. And
Yeah,
so it's only through conversation. And I think the difference with the community, say, than LinkedIn, which is great for kind of creating contacts and researching and understanding who's doing work, is that community just enables it to be more of a conversation
yeah,
and more accessible for others to join in.
yeah,
And it kind of, I think, it feels more deep and meaningful. And one of the other kind of things that we've always thought with Rethink is, and particularly in this conversation that we're having about young people, I think really important that you're bringing in people that want to look at the solutions. So there's
yes,
lots of people thinking about the problems, and that is great. And you do need to be clear about what the problems are that you're trying to solve. But these are people that are doing something, who've
yes,
started something, and sometimes need a more of a voice to amplify their work. Perhaps they need some reassurance that they're actually onto something. And I always think as well, when it comes to innovation, innovation usually happens at the edges where there's no resource or
yes,
someone knows
yeah,
there's a problem, it needs to be solved, it has to be solved, but they maybe don't have the resources to do that. Again, I'm starting to think that Rethink Places has an opportunity to take those great ideas that are around the edges and say, actually, that's brilliant, how can we join forces? Is there anything we can add? Even if I can't add anything, can I just help to promote the work you're doing? So yeah, and this is only in, really in the last 2 to 3 months.
brilliant, brilliant. And just leading on from what you just said then, because I was going to ask you about how are you defining partnership? So what is this doing differently than, say, traditional ways that you might go and establish collaboration relationships or partnerships with stakeholders? Are you seeing a difference?
Yeah, I think it kind of goes back to what I was saying around where others have already got ideas. So this isn't about let's create something new and start from scratch. This is about what exists in the world already and looking for synergies. And I think for me, partnership in this is about starting where people are, not enforcing your view or saying, right, I've got this big project, would you like to come and join it? It's more about what are people already doing? Where is their common ground? And how might we help each other, or how might this community coming together make a difference? And that does feel different. I think it's, sometimes I think partnerships also about power, and this isn't, like I say, it's not really about Magna as such, but it's how the work that we're doing at Magna and actually the work that we're doing as individuals. So my role in charity sector as well, as a trustee, how are all of those things able to play a part? And yeah, so it feels more like you're building something sustainable
Yeah.
for the long term, and you're letting go of your own agenda in a way and understanding what's really important to others whilst also playing a part in the community yourself.
That's fantastic. So hopefully next time we speak, we're going to be able to deep dive into some of the outcomes or some of the
Yes.
planned outcomes that are hopefully going to come out of this,
Mhm.
which is fantastic. And I think you've got a video which shows a little bit about the community and how it's starting to grow and how it can be used to kind of collectively bring people in. Because what you're saying is you're stronger together almost with all the components of the different things that people bring for a
Yes.
common purpose rather than individuals trying to solve something themselves.
And it's not perfect yet. I'm sure there's some people that are in the community that are kind of thinking, how do I contribute? How do I join in? I think that's great. I think, we all come into it in a very curious mindset, and we're kind of looking to see, well, what might come from this. And I think that's the other kind of lesson learned is when you're building a community, you can't force the pace. It happens naturally. And where someone sees something that they can hook into, that's when they can add and contribute. And so yeah, so it's taking time, but it's already feeling like some of the conversations are much richer than some of the superficial things that you might see, where we all go, oh yeah, I like that you're doing, or this feels like actually something that could have really good actual outcomes because of the collective thoughts and action.
Fabulous, fabulous. Well, I look forward to speaking to you again soon. Can't wait to
Thanks,
see how it
Sarah.
evolves. All
Yeah,
right.
me too. Thank you.